And welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys my guest stories when I was a Walt Disney World cast member. So if you are like new here or do not know, I was a Walt Disney World cast member on the Disney College program fall 2018, and I was a front desk cast member at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and I absolutely loved it. I loved every second of it. I loved my resort, I loved the people, I loved my role and location. Everything was amazing. But obviously there were some guest stories that are just, I have to share them. They were so either magical or funny or just different, difficult. Every single day as a front desk cast member was a new challenge. You had no idea what that guest coming up to you wants or needed or experienced, and they rely on you to fix them. So there is a lot on your back being a front desk cast member, but it makes it all so worth it, being able to fix every single type of situation. It's incredible. But I have a couple guest stories that I'm going to be sharing with you today. I have a couple stories that are magical, some of them are difficult situations that I had to handle, but like I said, every single day as a cast member was different, but I did accumulate a good amount of guest stories that I'm so excited to share with you guys. So if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on any of my content, and let's just get started. The first story I'm going to start off with probably was midway through my program, and as a front desk cast member, obviously I have to check every single guest in, and there's a plethora of guests, first-timers, people that come once a month, people from all over the world. And this one family that I was checking in was from Brazil, and they've been to Disney World once. I think it was a very long time ago. It was their child's first time, and it was two adults, so a man and a woman and their kid. And they were so sweet, and their check-in process did take a little bit of time because it was broken English, so I was trying to do my best that I could to make sure they comprehended everything. They had the dining plan, they had fast passes, they had park tickets, they needed all the maps, they needed to understand everything, because I felt like I needed to. As a front desk cast member, we need to make sure this guest, any guest in front of you, knows everything that they need to know before they head out and enjoy their vacation. You're the first ones that they see, so it's you take all the responsibility to start their vacation off to an amazing start. So I spent, I think I would say at least 20 minutes with this family, going over absolutely everything that I could, and they were just so incredibly sweet, and they asked for my name, and I remember a couple times throughout the night that they would have come find me, I was on break or I was in the back working on something, and they'd run up and be like, Tia, we need to talk to Tia, we can only talk to Tia. I was I felt like their vacation planner. But it was really sweet. I was with them all day. The next day, I saw them in the morning, I believe. I just waved and I was like, oh, have a fun day, and they said they were heading to Magic Kingdom. I was heading to Magic Kingdom at night too. Of course I was. And I was doing a solo park night by myself. I was just in Magic Kingdom enjoying my night, and I went to go visit one of my friends who was working inside of Cosmic Rays. And on my way out, being a nice person, I opened the door for the person behind me, and there she is. This woman is right behind me. I was like, okay, Tia, just don't say anything. I'm not working right now. I mean, I could say hi, but if she didn't remember me, that'd just be weird, because I obviously wasn't wearing my safari outfit. So I was like, okay, just open the door, let her through. And she was alone, she wasn't with the rest of her family. I let her through, she goes out, and she stops, and I was like, here we go. And she turns around, she goes, Tia, and I was like, hi. And she was like, I need help. I was like, okay, alright, what are we gonna do for you, ma'am? And of course, I wanted to help. I had nothing else really planned to do, so I was like, okay, what can I help you with? And she's like, my son and my husband wanted to eat at this Cosmic Rays. I don't want to eat there. It's all greasy food. I want actual food, but I don't want to sit down. Just somewhere quick. And I was like, okay. So I suggested Pinocchio's Village House, because they have a lot of flatbreads, and I was like, I don't know, it's probably the least greasy thing in Magic Kingdom, I think, that you can eat, because she's like, they're having fries and burgers and chicken. I don't want that. I was like, well, Pinocchio's. I was like, tell her where it is. She goes, okay, are you gonna walk with me? I was like, I guess I am. So me in the middle of Magic Kingdom by myself, thinking I'm gonna have a nice fun night to myself, just doing what I want, I'm escorting a guest when I'm not even working to go get her food. So I took her to Pinocchio's, and she gave me the biggest hug and Spanish kisses, she called them. She would Brazilian kisses, I think. I don't want to say it wrong. I don't exactly remember what she said, but she was giving me all these kisses on my cheeks. She would go back and forth. I was like, okay. Felt like I needed to help her. Of course, I don't know, just as a cast member, you want to make sure everyone's taken care of on or off the job, and I just think it it was funny because what are the odds, like she would have actually remembered me and then expected me to like continue to help her. But it was funny. I saw her the next day too. Like they were here for like a long time. Usually like if a family is from overseas, they stay for a long period of time. So she was here for a while, and it was just a story I'll never forget because little me impacted her stay so much that she like remembered me in the parks and even wanted me to help her out more and would only ask me questions. And it's cool knowing that like I impacted someone's vacation so much. My next guest story is probably the most difficult situation that I had to handle on my program, and it's a long story, so buckle in. And I was with this guest literally for over an hour. So we'll just start off with that. A family comes up to my desk. There's 3 children. They're all probably like under 14, and then the parents. And it was like I was about to leave too. I remember like I was like banking out in 20 minutes. I'm like, all right, I'm almost done. Nothing bad can happen now. Yeah. This family comes up to me and the wife automatically goes, something's wrong with my reservation. And I was like, okay, how can I fix it, ma'am? Like, what's going on? You know, inform me. She goes, I mobile checked in at 6 a.m. I have not heard from anyone yet, and I know something is wrong. I felt it in my gut all day while we were driving here. I just know something is wrong. And I'm thinking like, okay, either housekeeping accidentally just didn't press clean on the room, or nothing crazy. I was not thinking anything happened. So I was like, okay, ma'am, let me just check for you. I pull up her reservation. Like, I'm trying to tap her Magic Band. We have a Magic Band scanner. You tap it, pulls up your reservation. Nothing's pulling up. Nothing popped up with her Magic Band for some reason. I'm like, okay, that just means her My Disney Experience wasn't connected. I look it up by her last name and I find her reservation. I'm like, perfect. See, your reservation's right here, ma'am. Let me just find a ready room for you. Something in housekeeping system must have just not agreed with ours. Sometimes that does happen. Let me find a room for you. I called my back office because that's what we do. We have to call our back office for everything room related. So I called my back office. I'm like, hey, can you find a ready room? It's like 6 o'clock, you know, room should be ready by now. Why isn't this room ready? And they're like, okay, can we give you a call back? And I'm like, great. So now I have this guest in front of me who is panicking. Like, she's like, I know it. I know something's wrong. You guys did something wrong. I know something's going on. And I didn't know anything at this point because my back office just told me to like hold. And I was like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Thank you for your patience, but I am working with all of our departments to try to make sure we can find a ready room for you. And then the back office is like, hey, can you step back here? We have to talk. I was like, great. So I'm like, okay, ma'am, I'm just gonna step back, check with the back office, make sure everything's going okay. So I leave her and I go back there and they tell me, Tia, we have an unexpected maintenance issue. And I'm not gonna share what that is. If you worked in hotels before or know anything about hotels, usually it's like the worst case scenario of why we cannot put a guest in a room, because we have to do a very deep cleaning because something is going on that I'm not going to share, because for still being in the hotel industry, I don't even like saying the word out loud. We have many codes for them. If you can tell what it is by now, that's what happened. If not, use your imagination. It was something that no guest can ever enter a room, or even if something happened in there. You get what I'm saying. But that happened. So they're like, you have to tell her there was an unexpected maintenance issue. That was our last room. I'm almost positive it was like around Thanksgiving. That's why we were like super booked. That was our last room. We got nothing to fit her family of 5. Love math. We had nothing to fit her family of 5. We only had like, I think, a single king and then a 2 queen. But a 2 queen's not gonna fit like her children. They were all like, I think they were, like I said, between like 14 and like 8. So like they weren't gonna 3 sleep in the same bed, and they were boys and girls. Like they would not be comfortable with that. And I was like, oh, all right, here we go. So I go up to her, I'm like, ma'am, I like try to be as open and honest as I can with my guests as I could. I'm like, ma'am, there was an unexpected maintenance issue with your room. We are working absolutely our hardest right now to try to find you a new room, either in our resort or in another resort. Trust us, and we are going to make sure you have somewhere to sleep tonight. And she flipped. She started crying, and she was like, you guys gave away that room. I knew when I mobile checked in that for some reason when I didn't get that notification, you gave it away. You gave it away. There was rooms, like, there's rooms online. I don't know why you can't give me one of those. She was like persistent that we gave her room away to somebody. I was like, no, that wasn't it. She was, okay, well, if you knew there was maintenance at 6 a.m., why didn't you fix it? I'm like, well, I can't tell you the type of maintenance it was because I can't share that information, ma'am, because I can't say the words, but you know what I'm saying. I can't share that with you, but it's an issue that needed more of a day to resolve. And she just kept going on and on, why didn't you tell me, why didn't you tell me? I don't know why she wasn't informed. Housekeeping never informed us. I was never, or any front desk members were not informed that room was not blocked for any wrong reason. Something wasn't connecting in everyone's systems and communication wise. So like it was definitely like our fault. I take blame, well, we all took blame for that. But she was just crying. She's like, we have nowhere to sleep. Eventually, after like 30-ish minutes, we were able to find her like something that would fit her whole stay, because she was there for a week and we were booked all week. We found like 2 connecting rooms, and we gave her, I think, a free dining plan. Her daughter was around, I would say the youngest, she was 8, and she was trying to comfort her mom, and it just reminded me so much of my mom and like our relationship. And I went around the desk once everything was resolved, and I was like, hey, I forgot her name, but I was like, hey sweetie, like I just want you to know how inspiring it was to watch you comfort your mom and be there for her. And I'm thousands of miles away from my mom, and I, you know, see your relationship with her, and I just want you to know that always stay so close with her, because it's something you'll never want to take for granted. Your mom's always going to be your best friend. And it was, I turned that situation around. Then her mom started crying and I started crying. I was like, I miss my mom. And you know, it was a very negative, really hard situation to deal with, but we turned it around, we made it work. And that was the most amazing thing about being a front desk cast member, is you can change any situation around and make magic for that family no matter what they're going through. And I think we did a pretty good job of, you know, making sure they were taken care of. But it was rough, and it was just so hard because like they were with me, so I was stuck without taking any other guests for literally over an hour, because they just stood in front of me because they didn't know what to do. And we were like kind of communicating with leaders, back office, housekeeping, so I had to keep them updated. So I mean, it was kind of nice that I got to like get paid extra, like I literally got paid overtime for standing with the family and talking to them. But it was a situation that was bad turned into a positive. The next guest story I'm going to be talking about is one where I was able to make magic. This was on Thanksgiving, and let me tell you, Thanksgiving was very, very hard for me. From the minute I woke up, I was crying. I was sad. I was, as you know, I was going through a lot of like mental health anxiety, you know, trying to make myself strong enough to continue my program as long as I could. And Thanksgiving was terrible for me. I was so upset all day. But once I got to work and seeing all the families and saying happy Thanksgiving and people thanking us for working, it was a beautiful night. I loved my whole entire Thanksgiving shift. But obviously not everything goes amazing for everyone on Thanksgiving. So I had a woman, and I believe it was her son, I want to say. She was in a wheelchair, and they came up to me, and they were very, very quiet, very, very humble. She's like, I need to extend my stay. I was like, okay, for like how long, how many nights? And she's like, well, I was in the hospital all day. I was rushed there last night. They had to do like an emergency procedure. I'm not really sure, I didn't ask for the details. But she's explained like I had a medical emergency, and the doctors do not want me traveling. I need to be in bed rest for the next 2 days. I was like, okay. We obviously are going to make that happen for you, ma'am. But I was so sad like hearing that like Thanksgiving you're in Disney World. You're literally in Disney World with your family on Thanksgiving, and you had to be rushed to the hospital, and now you're in bed rest in Disney World. I was like, I felt so bad. So I was able to find her the room. That wasn't the difficult part, but I knew I had to do something. Like I wanted to make magic. I wanted to help this woman out and just make her feel as comfortable as she can in such a sad situation. But she was okay. Like she was going to be okay. But like I said, bed rest in Disney World on Thanksgiving. Like no one wants that. So my leaders were absolutely amazing with like anything you wanted to do for a guest, you could pretty much do it. And I'm so grateful, like I said all the time, I'm so grateful for my location where I got to work. But I asked my leader, I'm like, hey, can I go shopping for this guest? I explained the situation. They're like, yep, go ahead. And I just got to go buy whatever I want. So she was like obviously like an older woman, and she was gonna be in bed rest, so I'm trying to like put pieces together, like what would she enjoy. I bought her a puzzle, some candy, and then this really cool book that we had, and it was like a flip through of like all the different animals that we had in our savannas, and they talked about them. So she did have a savannah view room, so she could literally be looking at these animals all day. And I was like, okay, this will be interesting. And then she could use a table, do a puzzle, and of course like treats, because she's gonna be chilling all day the next couple days. And I bought them and I delivered into her room, and she was like not expecting me at all. Like it was only like 15-20 minutes later, so I knew she wouldn't be in bed yet. But like I knocked and I'm like, hi ma'am, can I step in for a moment? And she was like, okay. So I went in the room and I like spread all the items out, and I just explained what each of them were, and just said, you know what ma'am, I know you're going to be here for the next couple of days, and you had a very rough Thanksgiving, and I wanted to make sure I gave back to you, knowing that we all are thinking about you, we're caring about you, and anything else you may need throughout the stay, we're here for you and want to help. And she was so sweet about her reaction. Like of course she was very tired, she was very sick, but she was very grateful, and that just like made my heart so happy. I remember like walking into that room, my heart was like racing. I was like, I'm so nervous, I don't know what to do. I was like, I don't know, I was terrified. but it was an amazing, like, it was such an amazing turnout, and I feel like she was so grateful. I didn't hear anything back from them. I remember I had the next couple days off, and I never heard from them again, but I think I made an impact on her stay and try to make her unfortunate situation better. And that's just the magic of Disney, you know, being able to make magic and go out of your way for every single guest. Super grateful for that. The last guest story I'm going to share was one that I started handling myself, but it needed more leader involvement. So I kind of was watching a lot of it, but I was there, like, they were my guests, I was taking care of them, but with the extreme of their situation, like, we needed leader involvement. So what this case was, I had a family who came up to me at checkout, and of course at checkout I asked, how was your stay, how was everything? And they're like, terrible. I was like, great, it's gonna be one of these. So there was like long comments on the reservation, and I was like, okay sir, I see you did have deal with a couple situations. Can I just have one moment so I can catch myself up with everything that was going on? He's like, yep, go ahead. So I read all of the comments. It literally was like an essay. So many things went wrong during their stay. None of their fast passes worked. Like, literally they didn't even work. They disconnected all their tickets from their magic bands, so their magic bands literally only had room keys, and sometimes the room keys didn't even work. So it was mostly like a technical My Disney Experience issue. That was a whole mess. And then at dinner, none of their because their magic bands like weren't working, their dining plan wasn't working at all. So they had to pay almost every time out of pocket and then come back to the front desk to, you know, get their money back because they paid for the dining plan and nothing was working. They spent over hours at guest relations. They had maintenance issues. Like, they like such a bad vacation. And when that all happened, I knew I had to do some sort of recompensation, but I guess I was so new at that time, I wasn't sure what was appropriate. Like, obviously I had to do something and I wanted to do something. So I pulled a leader over. She kind of was already aware of some of the situation, and the guest just kind of exploded on my leader and just like, listen, not exploded, but like the dad was really mad. He was like a grandpa, and then there was 3 generations. I'll get to that in a moment. But the grandpa dad was so mad, and then his son was trying to calm him down. He's like, Dad, you cannot be screaming at this girl. Like, these girls did nothing. They did nothing wrong. They're trying to help. You have to calm down. Let's just talk this through like adults. And I was like, thank you. We need a lot of you here. But this man was super sweet, and he was explaining, he was like, listen, we came from New Jersey. There was, I think, 10 of them, 10 or 12 of them. It was 3 generations. So there was the grandparents, the son and daughter of them, the mom and dad, and then the grandkids. They're like, listen, we came from New Jersey. We are a low-income family. We've waited our whole entire lives to come to Disney World together, and we never thought this would happen. And we finally get here, and it was terrible. We wasted so much time. We wasted so much money. No one was happy the whole trip because we were just dealing with situations the whole time. And my leader literally invited them back on us. And they were shook. Like, I was shook. I was standing behind her. I was like, oh, shoot. She literally said to them, you know what? We want you to come back. We want you to have the same exact stay that you had. Same room, same amount of nights, same dining plan. Everything on us. Everything is on us. And the grandma was like crying. Everyone was crying. They're like, well, we can't afford like the plane tickets right now. And she's like, nope. You have no expiration date. Whenever you want to come, here is my number. Here is the GM's number, so just in case like she wasn't there anymore, because it could be years later, obviously. Contact us. We wrote a long letter to our general manager explaining everything. It got all approved, and we literally gave away a whole entire free vacation. Wild. It was so wild, but it was so magical knowing that we could do that. And we completely turned around the most horrible experience for a family, like knowing that they are a low-income family, saved their whole entire lives to be somewhere like in Disney World together, and it just was terrible for them. And we want them to come back because Disney World is such a place where that's not supposed to happen. Like, you're supposed to have the best vacation of your life. It's supposed to be all magical, but like obviously reality in life, like it happens. We wanted to have them try again, and it was, oh, so you can just like see me smiling about it. It was really, really magical, and I'm so grateful that even though I wasn't like the decision maker, because obviously I cannot give away a full entire refund like that, but I was able to be a part of it, and it was super magical to experience. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun telling these stories, and it just makes me think of the time that I was a cast member. I do miss it a lot, guys. Like, I know I came home a little early, but I miss my job there so much. It was the best in the whole entire world. I miss the people. I miss the parks. I miss everything. I wish there was a Disney World right here in Buffalo. So bad. But it's okay. I'm living my best life here. I miss it a lot. I can't wait to go back. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please do give it a big thumbs up if you did, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!